Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another major PS5 jailbreak update right here on TechVibes. Today we have some massive news to discuss because it looks like a prominent developer is officially back in the scene and releasing public material again. We actually have a brand new release to talk about, which is a kernel exploit for the PS5 that works on firmware versions up to 12.70. Now, I want to clarify that this is quite different from the kernel exploit that was recently previewed as a 0-day, which covers the latest firmwares on both the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. That other one is a separate situation entirely, and is likely being reported to Sony through official channels. So we might be waiting a while before that specific exploit sees the light of day. However, the news today is about a unique kernel exploit strictly for the PS5. It was officially patched in firmware 13.0, and since it is already closed off by Sony, the developer decided it was time to release the details to the community. As you can see, the information is available now. Currently, this is more of a technical write-up explaining how to implement the exploit using a PC. It has not been compiled into a simple clickable application that you can run directly on your console just yet, but that development should be coming along fairly soon. Once it is ready, we will be able to chain it with the existing userland exploits we already have. This means we should be able to combine it with almost every userland entry point currently available to us. This is fantastic news for the community, but there is one significant catch we need to talk about. This specific jailbreak method has a bit of an elephant in the room, and that is the time it takes to actually trigger. The project is being called P2JB, which stands for Patience to Jailbreak, and it definitely earns that name. When you look at the technical breakdown of how this exploit functions, there is a 32-bit counter that needs to reach a very specific value for the exploit to work. In its current state, it can take a few hours of waiting for that counter to hit the mark. The developer did mention that this time could potentially be reduced by using multiple threads. If the developers can find a way to get multiple threads running simultaneously, we might see that wait time drop significantly. Ideally, we would want to see it go from several hours down to just a few minutes. We will have to wait and see what happens once the dev community gets their hands on a full implementation. We are all hoping they can work some magic to make the timing more practical, because waiting hours every time you want a jailbreak is not exactly ideal. I suppose if this remains the only option for people on higher firmwares, you could simply use rest mode. That way, you only have to go through the long jailbreak process once, and then just keep the console suspended instead of turning it completely off. It is not the most elegant solution, but it would technically work. We are keeping our fingers crossed that a more efficient method is discovered soon. If this 12.70 kernel exploit can be optimized to load in a reasonable time frame, it opens up so many doors. We could chain it with existing entry points like the YouTube jailbreak, which currently works up to 12.40. This means we could potentially have a full jailbreak for consoles up to 12.40 using the new method, and even reach up to 12.70 by using other userland exploits. Think about the possibilities with games like the Japanese version of Lua Star Wars Racer Revenge, or even the Arcade Spirits game. Other titles like Don't Starve Together Console Edition could also serve as the entry point. To chain this kernel exploit all the way up to firmware 12.70, this is a truly incredible update for the scene, and we are just waiting for the implementation to be finished so we can run it on our own hardware. While we wait for that, I want to quickly catch you up on some other updates from the past few days. There was a $10,000 bounty disclosure recently. This turned out to be the net control exploit, also known as the Poops kernel exploit, which is something we have actually known about for a while now. So while the documentation is interesting, it is an older exploit and nothing brand new for us to use today. Additionally, another report was disclosed regarding a Blu-ray exploit for the PlayStation 4. This one works all the way up to firmware 13.02. Keep in mind that this is only a userland exploit and not a kernel exploit. We still need a new kernel exploit for the PlayStation 4 to actually achieve a full jailbreak on firmware 13.02 using this Blu-ray method, but it is another piece of the puzzle. Now let's talk about one of the biggest releases recently, which is PS5 Linux. This is now available thanks to the hard work of the community, and the repository has been made public. Currently, you can run Linux on PS5 consoles running firmware 3.0 through 4.51. There is a high likelihood that support for 1.x and 2.x firmwares will be added in the future. There is also talk about 5.x firmwares getting support via a different loading method, though it is noted that Linux would run within a virtual machine in that case. This means it might have fewer features and might not perform quite as well as it does on the firmwares that have full hypervisor exploits, like 4.51. To get the absolute best Linux experience on the PS5, what we really need is a new hypervisor exploit that works on higher firmwares. This would allow more users to turn their console into what is essentially a high-end gaming PC. It really is a game changer to have your entire PS5 and PS4 library available on the native OS and then be able to reboot into Linux to play your favorite PC titles. This actually solves a lot of the common complaints people have with jailbroken consoles. For example, many people worry that they cannot play online games because a jailbreak requires staying offline. With Linux, you can simply boot into that partition and play your PC games online without needing a PSN subscription at all. Beyond that, you can play games that are technically available on PS5, but require a higher firmware than what your jailbreak supports. If a game like Pragmata or a new Resident Evil title requires a firmware you do not have, you can often just play the PC version through Linux on the same hardware. That is not even mentioning the massive library of PC-exclusive games that never made it to consoles. During my testing, I was able to get the PS3 emulator running quite well on the PS5 hardware. I even experimented with Xbox 360 emulation, which showed some promise, though it still needs more optimization for stability. I also managed to get Nintendo Switch emulation working to the point where I could run Tears of the Kingdom. Having a single machine that can handle Switch games, PS3, Xbox 360, and even Wii U through various emulators is just mind-blowing. You can even set the system up to act like a dedicated Steam machine. You can configure it so that whenever you boot into Linux, it automatically launches Steam in big picture mode. This allows you to navigate everything using just your controller without ever needing a keyboard or mouse. You can even use the Steam menu to restart back into the PlayStation operating system whenever you want. It makes the whole experience feel very integrated and professional once you have it configured. Finally, we have a new payload manager to discuss. This loader comes with an updated version of the YouTube Jailbreak autoloader. To get this running, you just need to download the latest update zip file and copy it to the root of a USB drive. If you look inside the folders, you will see it is set up to handle the new payload loader automatically. You just plug that drive into your PS5, launch the YouTube Jailbreak, and the update happens on its own. After a quick restart, the next time you load the jailbreak, you will see a much cleaner interface. Instead of just seeing lines of debug text, you get a nice user interface with a progress bar that shows exactly how far along the process is. Once it finishes, it drops you right into the payload loader. From there, you can access a payload manager that lets you download various tools directly if your console is connected to the internet. There is a central repository with all the popular payloads, so you can just pick and choose what you need. Once they are installed, they appear right on your dashboard for easy access. You can even set up an autoloader so that your favorite payloads run the moment the jailbreak is successful. You can even change the order in which they load. It even creates a convenient shortcut on your home menu so you can jump back into the manager whenever you need to. The best part is that this loader is versatile. You do not have to use the YouTube Jailbreak to enjoy these features. Whether you are using the Star Wars exploit or the Blu-ray method, you can use this same payload manager for a consistent experience across the board. It really feels like the PS5 scene is hitting a new peak with these constant improvements. It is great to see things getting better and more user-friendly on every front. That is going to cover all the major updates for today. It is a very exciting time to be a part of this community. If you found this update helpful, please make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to TechVibes for more consistent coverage. Let me know in the comments what you think about that 12.70 exploit. I will see you all in the next video.